Hello and welcome back to the How I Ripped Off Buffy the Vampire Slayer podcast. My name is Chip Thompson and I'm joined as always by MC.
That would be me.
And this is episode 16 of season 1 of Chip. Wow, we are really racking up the episodes.
We've invested our time wisely, haven't we?
So has everyone listening to this. And this is part 2 of Deep Pockets. What happened last time, MC?
Well, so Ridley got his pocket picked. Took me a while to say that.
His deep pocket picked?
Yeah. And he was furious because he's decided to go straight, and he got a job, as straight as Ridley goes, because he's kind of working under the table at the docks, which doesn't sound like a very reputable job. But he got a $50 whole, which he was going to invest wisely. Fucking hell!
You okay?
No, I'm having a stroke. Clearly.
Call me an ambulance. You're an ambulance.
He was going to spend that on whiskey, but instead he got pickpocketed. So Chip and now Kat are on the case because Kat wants to be a do-gooder now. They're on the case. They went to see Detective Jack Bentley, who Chip bribed with the money that he stole.
Definitely his smartest idea.
And they are possibly on the case. But the pickpocketer in question is whatever the fuck their name was.
Relina.
Some sort of Olivia Twist demon style thing.
Do you call her Olivia because she's female? Or
Yeah.
Nice.
I know.
That's
I'm clever.
I'm awed at your literary joke there. Oh my god, you could wow Oxford with that.
So yes, we shall see what happens.
That was a very good summary, even though you struggled with it. But
I
it was
really
good.
did.
I think, considering you were having a stroke through that, you did a very good job. Well, let's see if MC lives through the end of this episode as we get into Deep Pockets Part 2. Previously on Chip.
Relina!
Came a cry from the cages. This was met by a strike from the electronic device on the prisoner that spoke out of term. Relina's eyes could just about see the blue light that filled the room. The dark figure in front of her still out its hand. Again, Relina tried to reach for it. A club was brought down across her back. "Show your master some respect," the guard yelled. "You will obey me, and no one else." Relina nodded, and a tear fell from her eye. The guard struck her one more time, and she was out cold. "I want to help people." Kat looked down at her feet. "But I don't know why. And I don't know why I want to help people. But I've been looking after myself for 23 years. I want to try a new path." "I don't know about helping people, Kat. That's not really what I do anymore. I just kill." Chip said, "Like you." "You've helped me," Kat replied.
I just finished at the docks, working like a regular Joe, and I'm feeling good about myself. And I'm just about to toast that with a bottle of wild turkey when something snatches my wallet.
"You a mug?" Chip said.
To an extent.
"How can you be mugged to an extent?"
I was holding my wallet right in front of me and whoosh, next thing I know, it ain't there.
Detective Jack Bentley? Chip asked. "What's that?" He asked. "A bribe." Chip replied. "I hear you like those." "A certain kind?" "Ask your friend Ridley there. We just want some information about a series of pickpocketing. Then we'll be gone." "I think I know the area where you mean. We've had people all over that place for a while. Nothing has turned up. A dozen or so reports on the last month. All the same. No violence or force used. People just realise their wallets and purses are gone. It's rumoured to be some underground gang. Here's the case file. Get a copy and make sure you bring it back. Now scram," Bentley said, leaning back in his chair. He reached for a phone in his jacket pocket and dialed a number. "Guess who I've just had a chat to?" "So you robbed a van full of cash?" Kat said in complete shock. Oh yeah, we ended last episode with the revelation that Chip had knocked off a security van. Yeah, now Kat's just finding out. I wonder if she'll take this well. Herself, Chip and Ridley had returned to the block where the pickpocketing had been going on and were now standing in the street looking out for anyone looking suspicious. Oh, they're looking a bit sus.
Was that a reference to a video game?
Yeah.
Well done.
I'm down with the
Pop
kids.
culture.
I'll play that tonight, actually.
He did it to save his buddy.
Ridley said, patting Chip on the shoulder with a smile on his face.
Ain't that right, Chip?
And to break the curse that creature had on people.
Did he break the curse on all the people or just on Ridley?
Clearly, he's just said all the people, MC, so clearly it was all the people. Chip's not a liar.
Also, I sacrificed myself heroically again.
No, we put that to bed.
Okay.
That bit is done, finally, okay?
Thank God.
As soon as it stopped being funny, we stopped.
Well,
And to break the curse the creature had on people,
yeah, but, I needed helping too.
Ridley shifted his weight from foot to foot. Oh, bless him. He was trying to connect there, and Chip was like, no. And now you're spending it? A still shocked Cat asked. I needed the money too. I haven't got time to get a job just yet.
That's a valid excuse, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've been busy, didn't have time to get a job, so I just had to rob a bank van.
How much did you get away with? Enough. I can't believe this. Here's me thinking you are this great hero, fighting evil and killing demons, when really you do what the hell you like. I mean, he does do that. He does fight the demons and evil still.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah,
he does.
I like Cat's getting moral about this now.
Yeah.
To be fair though, she did want to be a do-gooder.
Yeah, so she's very unwisely chosen Chip to be her role model.
Look, I don't make a habit of stealing money. I can't justify what I did, but... Chip stopped for a second and started to feel his pockets. They took it, he said.
Took what?
Ridley asked. My wallet, it's gone.
Jeez, man, they got yours too?
I wanted them to. Chip nodded. Now spread out, see if you can see anything. Wait, why did Chip want him to steal his wallet?
He put a GPS tracker.
Well, I was going to say that, but I don't think...
They existed, or if they did, we wouldn't have heard of them.
And I don't think anything like... They never really used technology or anything like that, so... They've never had gadgets, which is a shame. That would have been quite fun. Ninja gadgets. Yeah. They all went off in different directions. Chip walked up the street, looking at people, their body language and movements, seeing if he could notice anything out of place. Ridley went in the other direction, hurrying along, waiting to see someone running off, complete with a selection of wallets and purses in hand. I feel like they wouldn't be a very good pickpocket if they were just like, get out of my way, I've got a load of wallets and purses that you stole! Cat walked down an alley that separated a row of shops and led back to where deliveries would take place. Something rang in her ears. It sounded like someone lifted the cover off a sewer and dropping it to the ground. It sounded like someone lifted the cover off a sewer and dropping it to the ground.
You got a mix of tenses there.
Yeah, I think...
Just all the tenses. You don't want any of them to feel left out.
She ran forwards, following the sound she had heard. An even narrower alley fed off the first. Cat arrived just in time to see the sewer cover being replaced.
Nothing, bud.
Ridley said, walking back towards Chip. We've just been standing there since we got back. I didn't see anyone, did you?
Not a thing.
Looks like we're dealing with something more than just your average pickpocket here. It takes something special just to be able to walk up to someone who's looking for you and take their wallet without them even noticing.
Or something mystical.
Ridley suggested. I don't know. It all seems a little petty for anyone or thing with those kinds of powers.
Maybe they're trying to stop an ever-god-like entity too.
Ridley said with a smirk on his face.
What's an ever-god?
Stop.
Ever-god-like.
I don't know. I feel like that word shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ridley's really determined to bring it back to the whole deep blue thing, isn't he? And we're like, Chip, do you remember when you helped me because you're my best friend and you like me?
Chip's like, no. That didn't happen.
I like everyone, Ridley. God. Ha, bloody ha. Chip said with a slight smile.
Speaking of strange and mysterious...
Ridley changed the flow of the conversation. Well, he did, quite literally as well.
Strange and mysterious sounds like a comic book villain from the sort of the golden age.
Yeah,
AKA when comics were bad.
No.
Ooh, bird.
Get out!
Take that,
Get out of my
Stanley.
house! How dare you disrespect Stanley?
Speaking of strange and mysterious...
Ridley changed the flow of the conversation.
Why is Miss Mysterious herself out with us?
Cat turned up at my place this morning. Seems she's been doing some thinking. Wants to help out.
You trust her?
You don't?
I don't trust what I don't know. Her, aside from having a great rack and the looks... Yeah.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, do you remember when Ridley was the best character and then I made him not the best character?
I sure do. We need that, whatever demon it was, the teddy bear, giraffe demon back again.
Yeah, we do. Oh, he's our
It's
happy
the only
place.
wholesome thing in this entire shit show. Like a diamond in a sewer. I don't trust what I don't know. Her, aside from having a great rack in the looks, seems unstable. Like the slightest thing could set her off. See what I'm getting at?
I know what you mean, Ridley. Whatever it is with Cat, I'm sure we'll find out soon. I hope Chip doesn't mean a great rack.
He's already seen
Yeah, he has, yeah.
with her naked breasts.
Guys! Cat called out. Both Chip and Ridley turned around, stopping their conversation. I saw something! So I guess they can have a little trek in the sewers now to Cat sort of saw the
Yeah.
thing go on.
I wonder if they see another cocaine deal. And will Chip recommend all these pickpocketers to get jobs in Costa?
It's like, I think Chip's opening a franchise, like a Costa franchise. He's just trying to find employees. Is that what's happening? He's recruiting. Do you know why I'm disappointed in you? The master said, looking down at the small, quivering demon. Not only do you return to me with only one offering, but it is empty. The master opened the wallet and shook it upside down. It's quite comical, that, isn't it? It's
And a moth flies out.
The demon started to stutter in a vain attempt to explain itself. This only made the master angrier. It turned its back on the demon and walked back to its chair. The guards walked forwards, bats and electro prod in hand.
I thought that said electro poo.
We're just carrying electro. What's an electro poo?
Don't know.
Okay, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if it did say that, but thankfully it says electro prod, which is definitely a real thing.
I assume you mean like cattle prod or something.
Yeah, but I called it an electro prod.
Sounds cooler. Stop it.
Relina cried from the cage, still bloody and bruised from her beating earlier. Quiet! The master yelled from its sitting position. Take it away! Remove its limbs! The master instructed the guards. Ooh, that's quite...
Yeah, that's the thing.
Like all of them?
Yeah.
Arms and legs?
Oh wait, they're fish though. That we established that they're fat sardines. So it's fins. Did fins count as a fish's limbs?
I thought the fish were what was the master was wearing. Wasn't it wearing fat sardines, or were they fat sardines as well?
I don't know.
It's hard to keep up the lore, isn't it?
It's
so
labyrinthian
deep.
plot.
The demon screamed as it was dragged into a small room at the end of the corridor. The screams continued and were joined by the sounds of flesh being torn into by a band and a bone being chipped away at. Well, they've got like...
A rubber band? That seems like that is horrific.
I thought they got like Nickelback in or something to... And that is the loose term of a band as well, I guess. Come on, Chad Kroger, cut this fish's fin off. Come on.
Well, at least it's work.
Last album didn't sell very well, so you got to pick up where it can, you know. The demons all cowered in the cage, holding each other for dear life. The master stood up and walked slowly towards the cage. It paced up and down and began to speak. It's unfortunate that lessons have to be learnt, but that's a part of life. How do you expect to grow if you do not learn? I'm sure this is just a minor setback and will be improving from here on out. Otherwise, you know what will happen. The scream stopped and an eerie silence fell over the place. The master walked away from the cage.
I'm going to kill you when I get out of here.
Relina said, her voice peaking high.
I'm going to kill you when I get out of here.
Oh, you want a bit of Angelina?
Ooh.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Is that the worst voice you've ever had to do?
The one was more painful.
Okay.
Angelina was the most difficult to sort of get the pitch changing at the right
I think
speed.
you did pretty well.
Well, I am a talented voice actor.
There were a couple of times when you kind of hit the high peak a bit too early and then somehow had to go on. I'm sure they were great to listen to.
I'm going to kill you when I get out of here.
Relina said, her voice peaking high. The master walked back to its chair and sat down. There's 2 ways out, the master said. Work, obey, and respect me, or... One of the guards came out of the room and dropped a severed leg into the cage. You can leave in pieces! Wow, motivational speech there from the master.
Sounds like some bosses I've had.
Yeah, I feel like I've worked for a few of these dickheads before. Yeah, that's how I lost my leg. During his time in New York, Chip had started to get a good sense of the sewer tunnels. He's been down there once and just randomly fell into what he was looking for. He had had more than one experience of fighting demons, escaping and hiding out in them. That's a lie, isn't it?
I guess this must have happened off camera.
Oh, oh, bless you for saying off camera. In Tokyo, he hadn't really explored the sewer system, but guessed it would be much like New York. Smelly, dirty, wet, rat-infested, and a breeding ground for all sorts of things.
It says rat invested. When the rats are done investing on the New York Stock Exchange, they go into the sewer.
All these rats putting money into the sewers. Buy, buy, buy! Maybe there's a little bell they have to go and ring at the end of the day. That included an underground ring of pickpockets.
Anything?
Ridley asked, would help if I knew what I was tracking. I can just say that there's been plenty of movement through the tunnels in the past few days, but it trails off in every direction.
Got the with a double E.
It's going
a bit old school, yeah.
I've often compared my writings as a 15-year-old to Shakespeare. He made up his own language as well. All the literary jokes we're making today. Oh my god.
It's so highbrow.
Oh. We should be on BBC 4. Imagine this on BBC 4. And now the opera has finished. We bring you to Morrigason. Chip led the way, with Ridley walking behind him and Kat brining up the rear. Oh,
I think in a strange way that's my favourite typo.
Well, I wish I could remember when it first appeared. Because...
Early, right? Like real early.
I really don't know, to be honest. Maybe, one of our dedicated listeners could let us know if they know. But I'd love to know when it first popped up, because I think I've spelt bringing wrong more times than I have correctly. But it just feels like it's just suddenly come up, and now I just can't spell...
You went through a phase of being able to spell the word bringing.
Yeah.
And then you were like, no, this won't do. This is my authentic voice.
At least I'm consistent. It's like the whole living room thing where I just miss out room.
Yeah.
And it's just the living.
Yeah.
What? I think I'd say wrong with my brain.
Well.
Chip led the way, with Ridley walking behind him and Kat brining up the rear. They came to a crossroads in the tunnels and stopped. Where now? Kat asked. Same story. The tracks lead off in both directions. It's impossible to tell where they went, or where they came from.
Just a sec,
Ridley said. With that, he mutated and began to look around, sniffing the air and touching the wall. I like how Ridley mutated and it's just like, yeah, he changed a bit now.
Yeah.
And, yeah. But there was a bit, I think early on, when one of the first times we saw him in his mutated form, he, sniffed out Chip from across New York or something. They caught the whiff of him, so I guess he could
Sounds
track.
familiar.
Yeah.
I guess, because originally him mutating was very painful, but now I guess it's part of his whole thing of accepting, coming to terms, getting control over his demony self.
Yeah.
Maybe that extends to the transformation as well.
It's a shame we never looked into that more, because it was very much the sort of Chip said, oh no, you can control it, and Ridley was like, okay, and now he can. And I think it just slowly I've been dropping in the fact that he can just now change at will.
There was a bit of a brief montage, not even a montage, like a single bit from a montage.
I think it's been slightly different each time, to the point now where we're just like, he can just do it.
Yeah. That way.
He growled in a completely different voice to usual.
Technically, yes.
Yeah, that works, yeah. You sure? Chip asked.
I just said so, didn't I, Limmy? Limmy. The new phrase for English people.
I feel like it's like a Motorhead tribute band lead singer.
I just said so, didn't I, Limmy?
That's freaky, Kat said, staring at Ridley.
Well, I'm sorry, sweetheart. Maybe you should piss off back to your dump of a home, or shut the hell up.
Oh boy, he's grouchy, isn't he?
Fully in control.
So, okay, maybe he is slightly angrier.
Yeah.
Not like, any sort of already copyrighted characters that exist in the world or anything like that. But he does seem to be a bit more grouchy when he's in his
That makes sense,
form. Yeah. Ridley, Chip said. Ridley snarled, swinging round to look at Chip. He quickly mutated back into himself.
Sorry.
He said meekly. You can track in that form? Chip asked.
Sort of.
Ridley replied.
I can sense chaos and fear.
Oh, what?
Smells like chaos down here.
That's a very specific things to be able to track or smell or sense.
Yeah.
I sense fear is not that weird, I guess.
Yeah, but chaos? Like, what if there's like a really disorganised stationery drawer?
Ridley should go and be in Sonic High School. He could track the Chaos Emeralds. Yeah.
It does sound like something from Sonic High School. I can sense chaos and fear.
Can you do that line, but in the Sonic voice?
I can sense chaos and fear.
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh no, me and Doctor and Firemaster are entwined.
My God, I've never seen you two in the same room.
Good to see you've got in under control, Cat sarcastically said, and confusingly said.
Yeah.
Good to see you've got in under control. It under control?
I presume so. I'm working on it.
Chip led the way down the tunnel that Ridley had suggested. A few more feet down the tunnel, and they spotted 3 big figures standing in front of them. A few more feet? What, like 3? And they were just like stood in front of them the whole time.
Very
like,
dark.
Oh look, there it is. Ridley's like, yeah, I could sense their chaos and fear. Their faces were covered by cloaks and they carried batons. Chaos, huh? Chip said. The guards rushed at the trio, yelling as they did. The first met Chip, who dropped his head, flipping the guard up into the air. He landed with a lump on the sewer floor. I guess he would have a lump after...
I'd imagine like a cartoon-style big lump on your head.
Chip dropped a knee onto his chest. The other 2 guards went for Ridley and Cat. Ridley leapt onto his oncoming attacker, taking him to the ground. Ridley started to throw lefts and rights into the guard's face, but the guard slammed his baton onto the back of Ridley, rolling him off and starting to lay in with more shots.
Classic Buffy thing where the guy who isn't good at fighting jumps on his opponent.
Yeah. But I wonder why he hasn't mutated here.
Mm.
Unless it does cause him some sort of pain or something.
Or maybe, yeah. Or, I don't know.
I guess it's like that thing with like, you know, with like Spike and Angel and stuff like that. They'd only go into their vamp mode when they really needed to.
Or like Power Rangers when they get the big robot
Just literally get that first and you could squish it and it'd be done.
Yeah.
Cat disposed of her opponent quickly, landing a spinning kick to the chest of the guard that attacker her... got a bit Italian. Hey, don't attacker her! Following it up with a knee to the groin and another to the head. The guard wailing on Ridley was pulled back by Chip, who threw him into the nearest wall. Drink! The sewers fell silent again, and Chip helped Ridley onto his feet. Definitely chaos, Chip said.
Yes, because batons are a particularly chaotic weapon.
I mean, they were just sort of standing there.
Yeah.
I know they rushed them, but... Chaos?
Yeah.
I don't think I knew what chaos meant back then.
Yeah.
I've seen worse, Cat added, looking around for any more guards.
Ow.
Ridley held his back. Why didn't you mutate? Chip asked. Oh, see? Yeah. Chip asking the right questions.
You saw me earlier. It's not really me. Yeah, I'm stronger, but it ain't always easy pulling yourself back.
Oh, there we go. We got an explanation.
Thank you, Ridley.
Finally, Chip, knowing exactly what Ridley meant, said, at least we're going the right way.
Ah, yes, Chip knows exactly what it's like to be bitten by a raccoon demon. Raccoon teddy bear demon? Must be more to this than meets the eye,
Ridley said, limping along.
They didn't come across as the stealthy, steal your wallet types.
Over there. Chip pointed. There's a door. Chip, Ridley and Cat made their way over to the door Chip had spotted. Good. I'm glad we included that line of direction, just in case we were like, did they just stand there and look at it?
When they were in front of the door that Chip had spotted and they had made their way over to, they opened the door that Chip had spotted and they had made their way open to and were starting to open.
That is very Sonic High School again, isn't it? Chip, Ridley and Cat made their way over to the door Chip had spotted. 2 more guards rushed out and charged at them. So he's got quite a setup, the Master, then, because he's got quite a few guards.
He's already got 5 that we know of.
Yeah, and a whole empire of... I guess, you know, he must need a lot of wallets to pay the guards, unless they're cronies who work for free.
How do you pay chaos?
In emeralds.
Right.
So he's trying to get the money to buy the emeralds.
Makes sense.
To give them to the guards. But I guess maybe we'll find out, but I don't really know what is the motivation of the Master.
We don't even know. I mean, vaguely assuming it's some sort of demon, but it might be a human being.
It is referred to as it.
Yeah, that's true. Unless that's you trying to be mysterious.
I do believe we haven't seen its face because it's been covered with a load of fat sardines.
True. Master!
One of the guards knelt down in front of the throne where the Master sat.
3 people are attempting to enter our base, but don't worry, we have guards holding them at bay.
Just then, 2 guards came crashing through the door, out cold. Drink? Have a drink. A double drink because there's 2 guards?
Yeah, makes sense.
Double shot, there you go. Let them come, the Master instructed. Chip, followed by Cat and Ridley, entered the doorway from where the guards had come from. they saw the remaining handful of guards standing behind a figure in dark clothing with a hood who was sitting in a chair. Behind them were a series of cages, all of which seemed to be filled with smallish demons who all ran to the front of the cages, wondering what was causing the commotion. "What the hell's going on?" Kat said.
Something tells me we forgot our golden ticket for this chocolate factory.
Ridley replied.
It's a really fucked up version of...
Ooh, pop culture references. I don't think the remake of that would have come out, so it seems like quite a random one to pull out.
the Charlie in the Chocolate Factory with, what's his name? Gene Wilder, was it?
Yeah.
I'm sure Ridley saw that in
Yeah,
his
but
youth.
I just don't know why he's gone for that. Like, it doesn't feel very Chocolate Factory and Willy Wonka.
I think it's because they're orange. And they sing while they're pickpocketing.
Oh, wow, even this has beaten you. The person that's really good explaining this piece of shit I wrote 15 years ago.
Okay, I think it's because you didn't
Yep, what?
know Oliver Twist well enough to make a reference to it.
I mean, that's
And
kind of what
so-
it's based on, though.
The
The Master's basically the Artful Dodger.
This is an evil, twisted version of Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where the Oompa Loompas are the enslaved demons who, rather than making chocolate, steal things.
Okay, all right, no, do you know what, I'll buy that.
Yeah.
Just to let you stop talking,
Thank you.
I'll buy that.
Thank you. Something tells me we forgot our golden ticket for this chocolate factory.
Ridley replied. A shout came from the cage. It was for Lena.
Help us. Fuck if I know.
Oh, really? His voice keeps changing so much. It's brilliant.
Do you want me to try it again?
No, keep that in.
Shut up!
One of the guards yelled. "What do we do?" Kat asked. "Attack the guys with the long blunt objects that are about to attack us and take it from there," Chip said. "Sorry," the Master said, standing up. "But you're not going anywhere." With one flick of a switch from the Master, a huge steel cage fell from the roof of the place and onto Chip, Ridley and Kat, leaving them trapped.
This is a cartoon.
It should have been a big net that they were just flailing around in afterwards. But the Master, he's got some, like...
Why would you...
How did
Okay,
he build this?
I want a fuck ton of cages in here. Cages on the floor, cages in the ceiling, cages in the walls.
And I want a switch in my throne that you're also going to build that drops a cage just around about here.
I bet all his guards are like secretly like, fucking hell, this is the dumbest fucking thing. Who's gonna just all clump together conveniently in this single spot? And now the Master's like, well, who's laughing now?
And the guards are like, I should have taken that job at Costa. With one flick of a switch from the Master, a huge steel cage fell from the roof of the place and onto Chip, Ridley and Kat, leaving them trapped. Chip tried the door of the cage, but it was bolted shut.
It would have been hilarious if you left it open by accident.
In my head, it's like a steel cage from wrestling as well, so
Yeah.
there's no roof on it, you just climb out. "Now, would you mind telling me what it is you're doing here in our home?" the Master asked, walking towards the cage. "Had our wallet stolen," Chip replied.
You wouldn't happen to know anything about that, would you?
Ridley asked. "Maybe a little," the Master said with what sounded like a smile. "So that's why those demons are in the cages. They do all this pickpocketing for you," Chip noted. "Those pigs you call guards are too smash-mouthed to sneak up on anyone, and you're quite clearly the self-important leader who likes to run people with fear and power, not the type to get your hands dirty. So what are they, super quick?" He referred to the locked-up demons.
Sorry, can you explain Smash Mouth?
So,
There's a band called Smash Mouth. Is this...
well, we did say a band was chopping off limbs,
Yeah.
so
What?
maybe it was Smash
Wait,
Mouth.
what was Smash Mouth's famous song?
Is it the one from Shrek? Hey, now.
That was what I was thinking.
Is it that one?
I can't... I think it is.
So it's the Master Shrek. Oh my
God, I
god, it all
can't-
makes sense.
I can't. This is too much for me. I finally found the thing that breaks me, and it's a reference to Smash Mouth.
I think what it is, again, this might be a wrestling term, but a smash mouth style who's just someone who's like in your face, like no.
Okay, that must make more sense because
Yeah.
I was thinking Smash Mouth is the All-Star band, isn't it? How?
It's kind of like a brawler, or
Okay,
you know,
okay, that-
it's not actually the band Smash
So-
Mouth.
Good.
Are you okay?
Yes.
Do you want to go watch Shrek and listen to Smash Mouth?
No! I'm going to have nightmares now every time I hear that song.
This is probably when we find out that that's completely wrong as well. It's a different band that did that song, different film. Those pigs you call guards are too Smash Mouth, stop it, to sneak up on anyone. And you're quite clearly the self-important leader who likes to run people with fear and power, not the type to get your hands dirty. So what are they? Super quick? He referred to the locked-up demons.
And evolution number 10 for Relina's voice. No, we're...
Relina tried to speak, but was cut off with a brutal punch to the face. We need to get out of here, Cat said. You're not going anywhere. You will be used as an example to my slaves when, as I leave you here to rot for weeks and weeks. No human can escape steel this strong. You will be used as an example to my slaves when, as I leave... Okay, cool. Just making sure I got that right. Thanks, Chip said with a smile. He looked at Cat and Ridley. Time to pull our respective resources. Ready? Wait, are they going to, is this a Power Rangers moment? Are they going to morph in time and Megazord's going to come out? Both Ridley and Cat nodded, knowing what Chip meant. Well, I'm glad I do.
Tyrannosaurus!
They don't know what they're going to do. They stood in a line. It is morphin' time. They stood in a line a few steps away from the cage door. Now! Chip yelled. The three all stepped forward, Ridley mutating, and all extended their feet, kicking the cage door off its hinges. Well, that's kind of cool, because they're all kind of super strong and overpowered.
It's like the no man can defeat me bit in
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings, but when he said no human can escape steel this strong.
Well, luckily you've got a ninja, a mutated teddy bear,
And a hot chick.
The three all stepped forward, Ridley mutating, and all extended their feet, kicking the cage door off its hinges. Get them! The master instructed, running backwards. The guards ran forwards, as did Chip, Cat, and Ridley. The gathering of 6 people. Oh, I mean...
Lockdown,
COVID, yeah. I'm glad we both got to that. The gathering of 6 people met like to 18-wheeler trucks slamming into each other at 70 miles per hour. I think I had a boner when I wrote that line.
It's the most American thing I've ever heard.
Chip used his strength to knock his guard down with high shoulder, snapping the guard back. Ridley went in low, trying to take the guard's legs out, but stumbled along the way, falling short off of his target. The guard still tripped over at grounded Ridley, but was the quickest to react, swinging his club, catching Ridley's chin. The other remaining guard seemed to underestimate Cat, swinging wildly with his club. Cat ducked underneath, quickly pivoting on her right foot and landing with a big right hand. The guard shot backwards. Chip went to remove the guard sitting onto of Ridley. But the guard he had shoulder blocked used his electrode club to shock Chip. What is going on? Ridley took a few more hits before letting out a mighty roar, flipping the guard on top of him high into the air and crashing down on the steel of the cage. Is that a drink? Because he's kind of flipped him up and pushed him back into the cage.
Yeah,
Why
I
not?
think so.
Have
yeah.
a drink.
That's
Treat
a power
yourself.
move, isn't it?
You definitely need a drink to get through this episode, so go for it. Cat punished the guard, attacking her with a few more punches before connecting with the one that put him down for the count. The last remaining guard continued to send electroshocks through Chip's body. The master, seeing the guards losing the battle, reached for a gun in its back pocket.
That's a bit underwhelming, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought, Chip's already said he's not the type to do his own dirty work.
That's true, that's true. I still wonder if the master is a human.
Okay, alright. I don't think it will be, but let's find out. The master, seeing the guards losing the battle, reached for a gun in its back pocket. Slowly walking over to the cage where the slaves all stepped back, pressing against the wall. That's a weird place to put a comma.
Yeah.
That is a really weird place. Slowly walking over to the cage where the slaves all stepped back, pressing against the wall. The master checked to make sure the gun carried bullets.
In a little bag.
What? That's not a phrase. It took aim within the cage.
So he's going to shoot the slaves or whatever?
Yeah, he's probably going to tell Chip, Cat and Ridley to leave or whatever, or he's going to murder them all. I guess it's not wearing off just yet, it said. Lucky for me, bad for you.
What's wearing off?
I don't know.
The sardines?
I don't know. I don't know. What is... What is wearing off?
If it wears off, does that mean the gun isn't carrying any bullets?
Cat moved as fast as she could and reached the master just the trigger to the gun was pulled, but the impact of the tackle forced the gunshot to fire against the ceiling. The master and Cat wrestled on the floor for a while as Cat tried to remove the gun from the equation. Ridley stood, slightly woozy, and walked over to the guard, shocking Chip. Just like, how is Chip not dead? Jesus! He reached out, but the guard had seen him coming, lashing out with the back of his club, nailing Ridley in the stomach, and then bringing the club over his back. And Ridley's still mutated at this point as well.
Yeah, it must be.
He sucks. I think he's better when he's not mutated.
I guess the thing about his mutation is he's sort of very much stronger,
Yeah.
but he doesn't have control. He's all angry, like he was sort of taking those hits, and then he was throwing the guard on top of the cage.
Yeah.
He's sort of, yeah, he's...
You might say he's a Smash Mouth MC.
No, please God, no. Hey now, you're an all-star. Get your game on.
Why are you crying? Ridley stood, slightly woozy, and walked over to the guard, shocking Chip. He reached out, but the guard had seen him coming, lashing out with the back of his club, nailing Ridley in the stomach, and then bringing... spelled correctly, I hadn't picked up on that.
Oh.
And then bringing the club over his back. The guard turned around to see Chip, now standing in front of him. With one movement, Chip turned the club onto the guard, sending a controlled voltage into his throat. How much is a controlled voltage? The guard fell, shaking for a few seconds. During her struggle with the master, Cat noticed the black cloak was beginning to come off the master's face.
No, the sardines.
As the cloak fell away, Cat let go of the master, leaning back in disgust. The master laughed and brought the gun up to Cat's chin. She batted the gun out of the way and brought her right fist down 4 times as hard as she could, smashing the master's face into little pieces, leaving it unrecognisable. So we're not going to get a description of what he actually looked like then?
It's a sort of Lovecraft approach of going like, "Oh, it's really scary, guys. Oh, so scary. You couldn't handle it, mate. No."
But, much less racist than Lovecraft, so that's good. What was it? Chip asked, now standing by Cat, smoke drifting off his black duster.
Why?
Because he got shocked? It is a cartoon, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. You don't want to know, she replied, standing.
If I throw up, just know I'm not doing it to lose weight for the summer.
And now non-mutated Ridley said behind Chip and Cat, holding his stomach. What do we do with them? Cat nodded to the demons, who were walking forward slowly, looking at the little pieces of skull in front of the cage of the thing that had trapped and enslaved them.
I guess it wasn't a human after all.
See? Told ya.
Yeah.
I'll look around for a key. Chip said. I didn't mean... Cat started to say. Chip walked into a room. It had a table in the middle with a restraint strapped to its side. On a table next to the chair, there were dozens of used needles, some with some form of blue liquid inside them. Some form of blue liquid.
Did we have anything about this before? We
No,
had
this
stuff
is
about them being tortured.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've seen this. It's not going to turn out to be the stuff that Dwayne McCarthy used on Cat.
Or maybe it was what lets them be pickpockets, makes
Yeah,
them
turns them
invisible
invisible.
or super fast, or yeah.
The room reeked of fear and death. Oh, Ridley will be able to smell that.
Yeah.
Chip noticed a set of keys hanging up on the wall and took them back to the cage. Amen, Cat said, continuing from where she had left off. What are we going to do with them after we've let them out? I guess they'll go wherever it is they want to go. Chip shrugged. What if they don't have a place to go? What about my building? It's huge, plenty of room, not the nicest of places, but they'd be safe there. Cat spoke with almost a twinkle in her eye, like she was 7 years old, talking about what she's like for Christmas.
What she's like. Also, just imagining a 7-year-old Cat saying, and for Christmas, I want an abandoned building, a condemned building with cold showers, a broken TV filled with pickpocketing demons, and a pony.
The dream of every little girl. Dear Santa.
I've been very good this year.
Okay, Chip said, surprised to see yet another side of Cat. He unlocked the cage door and slowly stepped in. Don't worry, I'm not here to hurt you. We're here to help. Surprisingly, the demons didn't back away. They almost smiled. This confused Chip a little. His confusion was tripled when one by one the demon started to disappear before his very eyes. Chip turned back towards Kat. What? He said. Kat nodded to one of the slave demons that was still in the cage. Chip walked over to Relina, helping her up.
Thank you.
She smiled.
We didn't want to steal from people, but the drugs they used on me and my family gave them power over us.
What kind of power? Chip asked.
They stopped us doing this and walking away.
Relina slowly disappeared, just like the other demons had. So their power, is it invisibility?
I think it must be, right?
Okay, so the drugs they give them stop them from being invisible so they can get out of the cage, but they can go invisible up top to...
I guess he stopped them being invisible when they were in the cages, but he let the drugs wear off when they were up top, and maybe sort of kept the family as hostages, like, you have to come back or we'll kill your family kind of thing.
That actually makes sense, because that is exactly what happened. So, okay, well done you.
Thank God I could justify. Smash Mouth through me, but hopefully no more 90s band references and I should be okay.
I make no promises. Chip, still very bemused, felt a soft peck on his cheek from the now invisible Relina as she left the building. It's not a building though, it's a sewer. Unless it's
I don't know
at the building.
I don't know if sewers count as...
I don't know. Let's ask Smash Mouth, see what they say.
No! Stop it!
Chip and Kat looked at one another, finally understanding. Well, I'm glad they do, because it took us a while to kind of put all that together.
Yeah.
Back up on the surface, as the trio walked away from the sewer tunnel they had crawled into, Ridley counted the money in his hands. Not all of that came out of your wallet, Chip reminded him.
Yeah, well, might look a little suspicious if we started out a bunch of stolen wallets back to their owners. Besides, this dough, spelt Homer Simpson dough. Besides, this dough will go to a good cause, buying me enough whiskey to drown out my stomach, head, and body ache.
What?
Neither.
I'm very confused what Ridley's plans are. Ridley tucked his wallet into his trouser pocket and placed his hand in after, not letting go of the small leather satchel. What about you? Kat said to Chip. You gonna go celebrate being a hero? When I actually am one. He replied. But we saved. We did a good thing. Long way to go yet. You can't do one heroic act and get a nice shiny medal, Kat. Stop a few apocalypses, stop waves and waves of evildoers and bad people, make up for all the bad crap you've ever done in your life and be completely unselfish, then maybe I'll raise a glass. But not before.
I like how Kat is like, hey, we did a good thing. And Chip's like, no, you're a terrible person and you should feel guilty.
I mean, that's what he thinks of himself.
Yeah.
You know, he's been all dark and broody.
Still
like,
shitting all over Kat, though, isn't
yeah,
he?
yeah, like trying to praise her for actually doing a good thing, you know,
Yeah.
like she did a heroic act.
Yeah.
Yeah. Deep, Kat said sarcastically. Yeah, well. Chip shifted on his feet in a slightly uneasy manner. I guess being the leader of our little crime-fighting gang, I need to make long-winded speeches about right and wrong and morals and... We're a gang? Kat raised her eyebrows. Okay, not a gang. Last time I was in one of those, it didn't really work out, so we're just... companions.
Are you ripping off Firefly? Bunch of space courtesans.
Oh, if only. No. I don't think I ever did rip off Firefly in this, just purely because it wouldn't fit so well with it. But, oh, if only. Companions? That'll do for now. I'll be around. Kat almost smiled as she turned and walked away. Great, stealing my dramatic lines now. Chip thought as he headed back to his apartment. Along the way, he stuffed his hands into his coat pocket. His black and slightly burnt hands could feel a piece of paper. He fished it out and read the crumpled note. It read, "Thank you." Chip scratched his head and looked around at the New York streets. No one was around. And that's the end of Deep Pockets, Part 2. Well, what do we think of that episode then, MC?
I mean, it was very much a villain of the week thing, wasn't it?
Yes.
But it did do the sort of more long-term thing of bringing the gang or companions together.
Oh, let's not call them that. Let's not call them the Companions.
Hey, it's the Companions.
The new song from Smash Mouth. Yeah, I think that's the idea, isn't it? It's got a happy ending.
It
which is a
does.
bit weird, you know?
Yeah,
like,
'cause-
Relina's obviously come back and put the note into Chip's pocket and just kind of thanked him for that. Kat's done something good. Like, the companions are together now, you know, they're a trio. It's quite nice.
I feel like you're going to reveal that the invisible demons are actually all horrific, evil people later on, just because you can't resist being dark and edgy. You give Chip something else to feel guilty about.
Oh, can you imagine if they went on to, like, start the apocalypse or something and Chip was like, no, I did it again. But then, because obviously in part 1 we had a little hint of Jack Bentley as well and what he's up to.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like you say, villain of the week, but very much kind of setting things up as we go along and kind of get a bit more towards, you know, we're in the second half of the season now.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
progressing along nicely, confusingly in a lot of
As
places.
always.
Yeah, so it's very nice to see.
Yeah.
Hey now. Well, if you want to come and let us know your favourite Smash Mouth song, do they do more than one? I don't know. Did you know there's numerous ways in which you can get in touch? You can find us on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/HowIRippedOffPodcast.
And we are on Twitter at How I Ripped Off.
And you can find our entire back catalogue on SoundCloud, Stitcher Radio, iTunes and YouTube.
You can also find Smash Mouth's entire back catalogue on some of those things as well. I can't say if you want to tell us your favourite Smash Mouth song, because you already said that, and I don't want to hear anything about Smash Mouth in the rating and review that you are, of course, going to leave us, because we would appreciate that, and it helps us very, very much. It helps us more than invisible demons being let out of a cage from an evil demon that has sardines on its face.
It helps us more than Shrek helps a shit 90s band.